Hi, I'm Brad Peterson with Heatseeker Automotive. I get a lot of questions from dealers, and I thought I'd spend a little time discussing security. And it's an issue with dealers. When you talk to them, they're very concerned about security. Everything's got to be secure in their dealership, and that's great. But they're typically thinking about security from the outside, hackers and other things wanting to get inside their dealership. But one of the things that I don't think that anybody picks up on or they miss is that really internal security is different. And generally the internal security is a little more lax than what they really want to know. So I thought I'd go through a couple of different points on internal security that we see time and time again at Heatseeker, and just discuss the different options and ways to correct this. So one of the things that I see when I go into dealerships is that you have a bunch of different PCs inside the dealership. And many times people log on with the same login. Admin. And this admin user is used for every different PC in the dealership. And it's nice, it's simple, it makes it where everybody can log in and they can just get to their work. And a lot of times this doesn't even have a password. So I log in to the receptionist's computer as admin without a password. But I can also, because I know that I don't need a password, I can use admin to log in to the controller PC. Where this becomes a problem is, I don't know that I want the receptionist logging into the controller PC. Because generally, there might be some other things like financials or payroll on the controller PC. I've never seen payroll information on the receptionist PC, and I don't really know why the receptionist should be logging in and potentially getting to the payroll information. That's just not a good scenario. So one of the things that we talk about and we want to change with the private dealership cloud is to give you better internal security. So really one of the things that you need to do is to get out of this every same password, username and password to log onto these PCs and move to an individual username and password for every user in your dealership. And it's not hard to do. It's part of a private dealership cloud, the entire security infrastructure. But in that case, if you have a bunch of different users like Mike, Ray, or Larry, each one has their own username and password. And then through the security architecture, Larry can log on to the receptionist. But if Larry tries to log on to the controller PC, he gets denied because Larry doesn't have access to get into that. So that way your financial and your payroll records become safe in here. Ray can log on to the parts computer, but he can't log on to the service computer. He gets denied from there. So using individual usernames and passwords can help you control your individual security at these things and keep your data safe. There's probably stuff here that you don't want the receptionist or maybe even the parts manager or the service manager to see. You're going to share them that information in your monthly meetings, not because they're poking around over here. Now, that talks about this. The other one that really comes up is that the salespeople. There's many dealerships now where computers are going on the sales show floor. And salespeople are very important. They sell all the cars. But there's a lot of dead time. So if they're sitting at a computer, we don't know what they're doing. If they're logging on with the same username and password, pretty soon they might be over here trying to get in here. And if they can get in here, boy, can they get in. This is what we're trying to prevent, is somebody getting into stuff that you don't want them to get. So you really need to move to individual usernames and passwords for everybody and take away this idea of downtime where people are just poking around. That's your internal hacker. They're all your employees, and I know that nobody ever wants to think that they're doing something wrong, but if they got time on their hands, you don't know where they're going. Now the other one about wireless security. We see a lot where people want to provide something for customers in their customer lounge area, their lobby area. And what they'll wind up doing is giving somebody what they're asking for, wireless access. And they'll make a connection right back to their dealership network. While that gives these people access to the internet, it also, from a laptop or an iPad or an iPhone, they can see all these different PCs as well. So now you have somebody that doesn't have anything to do with your dealership. They're inside the firewall, but they're here and they potentially can get into all these same things, and if they can guess the one username and password, they could get into every one of these things as well. So you don't want to set yourself in a situation where customers coming in can guess your one password and get in here. So what we really want to do is get out of this scenario and get yourself where the connection for your customers goes out to the internet completely separate from your dealership network. Again, part of the private dealership cloud, we give you the security infrastructure to individually secure your PCs to usernames and passwords, and we give you wireless security where you have private wireless so your employees can do all the things that they need to do inside with wireless, and you get customer wireless that heads out a separate path to the internet, and it's all over the same connection, and you're not doubling up on any cost. You're just giving yourself the right security infrastructure for a dealership and not worrying about the internal security threats that a lot of dealerships miss. All right, so if you want to find out more information about your dealership security and how we can help, give us a call at Heat Seeker Automotive.